You've used the phrase playing off 2 feet a lot this year.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that means and the benefits of it? And remember, I'm a sports editor, so you have to dumb it down.
Well, yeah, I got to dumb it down for me too. So playing off 2 feet is just simply put, like if you watch a lot of basketball, you see a lot of guys penetrate, make a move, get by their guy, and then really legitimate, what you see over and over again, is pick up the ball, pass the free throw line, take a step and a long step, and go to make a play. And it just is, it's a young play, and it's as soon as you pick up the ball, you just leave. Then it just turns into a high percentage of it being a high percentage of hope as you finish that play. Hope the weak side doesn't come, hope a cutter comes open, hope that you have a clear view to the basket, hope that you don't run into a charge, hope that you. And you also don't give as much time for guys to react to your movement. And so, and you end up making really tough shots. In John Stockton's prime, I think he was shooting 52% at the rim, and he was leading the league among guards by a significant margin in the way that they calculate that percentage. And so we're just trying to buy ourselves more time to make decisions and more time to react to movement and take as much hope out of the game and incorporate as much play in the game as we can. So that doesn't mean we never play off 1 foot. There's sometimes playing off 1 foot is the right choice.
Like in transition and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, in transition, like Rudy just had a play where you guys saw he whiffed a layup where if he just played off 2 feet and let the guys fly by, he's just got an easy layup, but he jumped off 1 foot, and so now he's stuck in the air, and he's kind of hoping. I hope nobody gets a hand on the ball, right? And so we're pushing that. I think it's a really, really important concept for young players. And our guys are getting better at it. They're getting better. Like we're having more and more possessions where our guys are super creative after penetration, and it doesn't have to be penetration too. It could be after coming to a finish on a ball screen. It could be after like turning the ball, and instead of just jumping on, you hear this all the time. Jump passes are super dangerous because again, as soon as you leave the floor, it becomes a hope play. You hope nobody closes the gap. You hope your guy's paying attention. You hope everything. And so the later that you can lose options and the later that you can make a final decision in the play, it gives you more time to be accurate, right? And so that's what we're pressing our guys to do.
Gideon's coming off a really good game, and it really seems like when he plays well, the team usually has a lot of success.
Yeah.
Why do you think those two things go hand in hand so often?
Well, he's such an important part of this team, first of all, and he's a veteran leader, and he's capable, like on the right night, of doing so many impactful things, and he brings some things every night, and some things are more, he's trying to get a handle on, but he's just has a huge impact on the game when he plays well, huge. Like when he's making shots, when he's on the offensive glass like he was this weekend, he was unbelievable on the offensive glass. In fact, in this specific game, I really would credit him with the two defining plays of the game. It's 31-30. They're at the free throw. Oh, no. Atiki has just got a post catch where he's super patient, a play off 2 feet, where we got him a post catch. He turned over his left shoulder, second pivot, and then scored it and won, went to the free throw line and missed it. And so the game had been straight up the whole time, like pretty tied. And G gets an offensive rebound on the free throw miss. We work around, get a three. G comes from the three-point line, gets another offensive rebound on the same possession. If you remember, he kicks it to Jackson in the corner, bangs it. It's a 5-point play, puts us up 34-30, and then we just steamrolled in the next 2 minutes to go up with a double-digit halftime lead, and there was finally some separation in the game. And then in the second half, if you guys were still awake at that time, we had 62 consecutive defensive possessions with fouls, and G finally, in a little string, we put together 2 or 3 together, and G comes up with that charge on the isolation play, comes up with the charge, and that was also a defining. I felt like those are the 2 most defining plays in the game, and so it kind of gives you a sense of his versatility, right?
How would you assess the maybe overall health of the team heading into kind of dog days of the season before this last 3 weeks?
I think it's okay. It's just okay. It's kind of, you expect a bunch of guys to be dinged up, and a bunch of our guys are. And, we haven't had the luxury this year of building in rest days because we have to get better. At this point in the season, normally we're, squeezing in a half an hour practice or a 20-minute shooting day or a day off just to try and keep guys' legs fresh. But we're not at a place right now where we just need to grow so much. So, this has definitely been a worrying season on our guys because we haven't been able to do that.
Earlier in the season, Jax said it's been kind of an adjustment for him to get familiar with this Thursday, Saturday schedule. And I bring that up because this weekend it's kind of unique travel. You got Southern California then all the way up to Spokane. Maybe just the challenges for travel with this road trip.
Well, interestingly enough, I think that's how most people like to vacation. They like to go to Southern California a couple days and then really go enjoy their time in Eastern Washington. And so we're just kind of following that general vacation migration. It's always a challenge. Like it's always a challenge. This is an incredible challenge, and probably way more of a challenge than the locations is the teams, right? Pepperdine's coming off their first win, and they're, mile high, and and they're so just incredibly dangerous offensively, and then the Zags are the Zags. So the travel in between is just kind of, it's what it is.
What did you make of the end of that Pepperdine-Portland game? Have you ever seen anything like that?
I have not. It was spectacularly unique. So
in the standings right now, you guys have 5 losses. There's some teams with 6, a couple teams with 4. How much are you kind of just like scoreboard watching right now to kind of just figure out like what you're going to be on a given day, especially with how much you guys are putting a premium on getting better as much as you are?
I wish we had put ourselves in a position where that mattered more right now. Or I guess it's kind of like the rest days. Like, you want to be in a position this season where you can afford to steal some rest days. But you're exactly right. Like, right now, our whole life, I wish the season would last 3 more months because we just need to get better. And so it's just every second of every day is just trying to think about how we can get better, and then we don't have a lot of time for the stuff that we're normally doing right now. And that's okay. I actually like it. I actually kind of like it. Like, that we're so laser focused on just one thing right now is pretty fun.
What is the key to getting your guys to play better on the road as opposed to that Bay Area?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, but certainly that's something that's crossed our minds, right? Is, we've had some success traveling this year, but certainly our last road trip was not. And we've really enjoyed the comfort of home for the last few games. And so I think just us understanding the energy that we have to generate, and also understanding that teams generally play better at home. We fully expect both Pepperdine and Gonzaga to be better at home. And so I don't know if there's anything magical about it other than just us kind of finding some joy into going to another gym and some real passion to win.
What are things that you can, as the head coach, maybe bank on with this team? Because it's been a new and young roster. But what do you feel like you can count on a nightly basis from this group? Well,
it's defense and rebounding with some like glaring exceptions, right? And so I feel like we're there, and I feel like our guys. So I feel like we're going to really compete on the glass. I feel like we're going to really try and compete on the defensive end. Although explosive guards have been complicated for us at times, and we're walking into that in a big way. And I feel like our guys are super resilient because I think their focus is in the right place. So I feel like our guys are going to show up every single night, and they can take a hit. They can take hits during the games, and they can take hits during the season. And so I have a lot of confidence in that. I have a lot of confidence in the kind of character of our locker room right now in terms of these guys. There's a lot of times when during this season when we could have wasted some time being discouraged, but we haven't. I haven't felt that ever from this group. And so I think, it's probably things we can count on.
I think you mentioned explosive guards after Santa Clara and that road trip, right?
Yeah.
What changes have you made since then, do you think, and do you prepare for that now?
We're spending a lot of time talking about guarding our yard, which we have, and that's been a huge emphasis for us for the last month, really. And we're probably schematically leaving ourselves some room to lean into some things a little bit more. I don't think we'll be approaching things different at the start of games, but I think we may be willing to kind of sell the farm to make some adjustments. We'll see how it goes, but we've definitely spent some time thinking about it.
General questions?
How important is it for you guys to get a win against Pepperdine to give your group sort of like a really good mindset going into the rest of the season, which is like Gonzaga, St. Mary's, like all these like really good teams?
It's just every game is so important, and you know, and every time we can win right now is really, really important. And so, and every game is going to be like. Every game is going to be nearly impossible. It just is kind of how it works, right? In the league, it's just how it works. And so it is, you know, this Pepperdine game is the most important game, and then after that's over, this Gonzaga game. It's just kind of I know that's a lame answer, but it's really generally how we think about it. And so we gotta go take advantage of every opportunity that we have. And I keep coming back to this, but like, it's almost like we have to go win and we have to go get better, right? And so it's like we're not really. I mean, of course, we're grading ourselves on wins and losses, but winning is not enough. We have to win and we have to improve if we want to have a chance here in the closing weeks of the season to make a push. And so we're feeling all of that pressure. You know, it's. I don't think it's awful when you're at this point in the season where a win's not enough, but it's not enough for us. So we're pushing hard.
One last question.
You mentioned that when you go to these WCC gyms for the last time, you kind of you reminisce and things like that, get a little nostalgic. What kind of comes to mind when you think of Firestone Fieldhouse and Kennel?
Well, the first thing about Firestone is I keep wanting their athletic department to win because I think they're planning to build a new gym, and they have to make it like a retractable roof. They have to. I've been pushing for this for 4 years. Like, it's the exact right place to do it. They can do some special cooling underneath the gym floor, but like,
so you can see the ocean.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if they will do this, first of all, it will be one of the great sport venues in the world, and like, I'm gonna find a way to convince Lorenzo to let's do a home and home. If they get that retractable roof, that'll be incredible. So I also think about. And just to give you an example, I know you guys have all seen this. So I think about if you guys remember, we had beat the Zags my first year, and then the second to last game, and I think our last game was at Pepperdine of the season, and it was a huge game. And I think Jake got ejected with a couple minutes left, and then he just disappeared, and he had found a chair and like taken his jersey off and was just sunbathing out in front of Firestone Fieldhouse at the end of the game. And I remember Yoli Child's performance there in that game because it was a hard fought game, and Yoli was just unbelievable. I mean, he was ridiculous. And then, of course, last year, Alex Barcelo and just putting on a show of all shows. Like, he was like a video game. I've thought about it since, and it's because of the orange coloring of the gym, because it was high school in Arizona, Corona del Sol, which is same colors. So I feel like he felt like he was, but man, he put on a show out there. And I mean, there's so many really, and then of course our fans show they're really, really well too. And so that's been a fun place to play. And then of course this kennel is one of the great venues in the country right now. Fan base is fantastic. It's super, super unique. The teams are always great. I mean, there's so many stories from up there. Most recently, we 2 years ago we had a guest pregame speech giver who's a dear friend who it was in the process of fighting terminal cancer, and like super special, and he's actually had unbelievable progress. So you can feel. I know you guys have all the same stuff flooded in your mind when you think about these places, but it's our last time, so it's pretty great.